Hey, welcome back to the Intuitive Mindset with Jeannie Lynch. Today is an Energy Healer Upgrade, a fun compilation of fun videos to help you learn. Today you're going to explore awakening your sixth sense, how to hear intuitively, 10 tips for psychic readers, and also when and how to filter intuitively. This was made especially with you in mind, people who like to watch YouTube but love doing it on TV. Enjoy. Hey, thanks for staying clicked in and being willing to play a little bit with your own senses and explore. So first thing you're going to need to know is you're going to need to have a journal to do this. So don't click out and think, oh my God, she's going to have me journaling all this information. I just need you to have one safe place as you explore the five senses to put your notes. I assure you, you will not come out the other side as you went in. So wouldn't it be nice to kind of track your progress or have some documentation of how you got there? That's the work we're gonna do. So we're gonna start first by explaining what we're gonna be doing. Okay. This is going to move fast. It's going to be for you. I promise you will love it. So let's put up a nice little slide that talks about the five senses and how to awaken these. And we're going to call these the five sensational experiences. Could be the next 5 days for you. Could be the next 5 weeks. You could do one per week. It's your journey, not mine. But here's the thing. I want you to do and touch each one of the senses. So let's set up today's work and then we'll dive into each one. This will be fast and you'll have some homework to do and maybe even someone to do it with. I'll explain that in a second. So slide up, let's do it. Each day you will be given one sense to focus on, and each day you will also receive a mantra for that day. And I do ask you that you give yourself the time and the energy and the space to really play in this activity so that you can truly heighten that sense. We're going to be starting with sight. So excited you're willing to do this. Let's do it. Okay, we're diving right in. Day one. Today, I will look at everything in full view. That is your intention for the first day. So you can just write these down, by the way, and then Monday, Tuesday, Friday, however you want to do this. So in the first day of being aware of everything you're seeing, I'm asking you, here's a visual for you. If you were going to open up your aperture, if you were doing photography, right, you would want to see the full picture. Imagine that that's what you're doing with your actual lens of your eyes. You're not just seeing what's in front of you, you're seeing what's beyond you. Pulling in and out of focus is another way I call that. You can see far up ahead, but you can also look right in front of you. These are ways of activating your eyes so that you can pull perspective. And that's what we're trying to do when we're looking at vision. So there's 2 activities that I want you to do. Ideally, if you could find a full moon, so maybe ledger it or look in the calendar and see when the next full moon is. Ideally, it would be a full moon. But the first one is just candle gazing. And this is a really easy activity. Get into a low lit room tonight or tomorrow and look at the little, there's a little red flame, but there's also a little blue flame. And those 2 energies together meet. This is at the point in where your vision, your psychic abilities, or your intuitive sense, will say that is the seed of the starting of that. Okay. So what you do is you light this candle, let everything blur out around you, stay looking at the little red and the blue flame between, and then allow it to come to you. So here's the cool thing. You're going to say, Jeannie, what am I supposed to see? The point is you're supposed to see nothing. You're absorbing the vision of seeing and looking for nothing. And you will be amazed at what shows up just by activating that aspect of your eyes. Okay, let's move on. Candle gazing is also called the ancient practice of Trataka, which basically means Sanskrit, look, gaze. It is said that we waste so much of our life prana through what we waste looking at. So gazing at a candle truly can reactivate and re-energize your eyes. We're asked to do this by staring at the stable part of the candle, and we're asked also not to do this for any longer than 10 minutes. This practice will truly help improve your eyesight. It will also help with your concentration and your memory, your patience and your willpower, your productivity, promotes inner peace, also helps you with clarity and decision-making processes, provides relief from stress and anxiety, helps with any sleeping disorders, and lastly, strengthens your intuition and clairvoyance. Let's continue to learn how to improve our sight. Moon gazing. Have you ever truly moon gazed? I'm not talking about just looking up at the moon and seeing it there. I'm talking about going out to a full moon, looking up at the moon, letting that image soak onto your beautiful eyes, okay? Then closing your eyes and letting the blue come to you. Letting the vision of you and say, this is me. What do I see? And just stay quiet in that moment. Again, through that perspective, you will be amazed at what shows up. The first day of full vision. Good luck. Hey, a little pro tip on the moon. Don't forget, the moon deals with all those things that we can't see. It's also the hidden insecurities. So just accept what is, right? Let the thoughts come and let them leave you. And remember, the goal of this meditation is to increase our mindfulness and the inner calm, not to self-criticize. Let's move on. We're going to move into hearing. I'm going to have you do some little homework, something that I put up on my channel a while ago. I'm going to tag the video right here in my cards. So all you have to do is hit that little button. It's a trip to nirvana. And what it is it's a trip through the senses of hearing and through seeing and through feeling. And this truly will activate this aspect that I want you to look at today when we're talking about hearing, because I want you to get out in nature, ideally, or even in a room. There's so many sounds around you. Put the music on in the background and then layer it out. Do you happen to also hear the lawn people out back, or can you hear the breeze or the air conditioner kick on? Doesn't matter where you are. You will not be able to kick up your senses of hearing unless you really ask to do that for yourself. One of the things that I used to have people do when I was training them to do this work is I would take them into a restaurant with me and I would say, not in a boundary way, listen to the conversation that's happening next door. I would say, listen to the woman across the way. Can you hear what she's saying? Can you hear the pitch of her voice? And then I would ask that person to tune out that and then pick up another person, a gentleman on the other side of the restaurant. This is how you activate your hearing. And you'll need to do this when you're connecting to source, because they'll have your ear and you have to pay attention as to who's talking to you, right? Because it changes. Maybe it's collection of Abraham, I get that. But to activate this, you first want to be able to be into a room and then place those sounds in specific places so you can get good and tune it up for yourself. That's day 2. Let's move on. We're going to take a little walk through feeling. Okay, so we're moving on to feeling, and today's mantra is, I will live each moment through the experience of what it feels like. And so it sounds like it is. I want you to go out and I want you to touch everything. Touch surfaces, touch cloth, touch leaves, touch air, whatever you need to do, but it really experience your day through touch. Do you know that there's a true statistic that says the likelihood of you buying something goes up like 40 or 50% if the person touches it? When you go into the mall now and they're walking around with little trays and asking you to taste and touch, that's a sensory thing. They know that if they can get you to feel something, that your hook will be hooked and you will buy their product. So today I want you to buy the products that are out there for yourself, in a sense that I just want you to experience. And don't forget, we're ledgering this, right? We're journaling it. Okay. a full day of touch. Touch your partner too. Enjoy it. Let's move on. Okay, so we're wrapping up. We have 2 more days to do. Smell and taste. And the next 2 days are really easy for you. I want you to partner up with somebody and have them do 2 little sampler trays, one to smell and one to taste. And the cool thing is, this is also an exercise around trust. Trust the person who's working with you to do this for you, but more importantly, trust the information that is coming to you. Hey, really have fun with this for the next 2 days as you taste and smell your way through the next 2 exercises. If you get up in the morning and you go to brush your teeth, don't just brush your teeth, taste your toothpaste. And smell the products around you too that you use. Do you love them, hate them? Are there certain things that are too strong? Maybe there's a meal that you don't like the texture of, but you've always not eaten it and it had nothing to do with the taste. This is the kind of mindfulness and consciousness that I would like you to give your taste and your smell for the next 2 days. And of course, ledger all of it because all of it is important. Does it connect you to a past? Does it connect you to a memory from your childhood? An association with a bad experience of a meal you had? These are the kinds of explorations you will be doing. Have fun. And of course, the whole reason that we're doing this literally is the whole experience of connecting to your sixth sense. When you can get into that space where you trust the information, you perceive it, read it a certain way, and then hopefully document it down, right? So I hope you enjoyed this. Let me know how you plan on doing this. Oh, I got a hungry little dog who's calling on me. So with that, I will get to my dog. Thank you guys. Have a great day. Hopefully you enjoyed this. More shorter videos on its way to you to activate and initiate and connect to your intuition. Hope you had fun. Bye now. See you next video. Hey, thanks for staying clicked in today. My favorite playlist and what I want to focus on this year coming up too is helping people connect to their own intuition. A lot of the people I try to attract are actually doing this work or in service to others. And I just know in my own life that once I really got connected to my own internal guidance, my life just got so much easier. So it became a mission to help others to do the same. So today we're playing in the frequency of hearing. And I'm not talking, and please don't take any offense to my next word that I'm going to use. This is not about psychosis, right? Psychosis, if you look up the word, it's about not connecting to our reality and hearing voices and seeing things and not connected in any way. And that is truly a whole aspect of mental illness that is not what this is today. I'm talking about a deeper connection, okay, to listening to our higher self and our own internal guidance system. And it doesn't sound, and it would never sound like jump or they're out to get you or you're in trouble. It wouldn't feel or sound or you wouldn't hear anything like that. That's what can be the line that we're talking about today. We're talking about, is this a good decision? It's about muscle testing. It's about following the path of least resistance. It's like following the light, okay? It's a whole other vibration. So please, out of the gate, let's make sure we're clear when we're talking about hearing. We're talking about hearing for guidance. Okay, so stay listening. We're going to play a little game today. Hearing is something that I believe with all your gifts too, that once you tell your guides, source, the powers that be, whoever you believe you're getting your information from, God, Jesus, whatever you call that, Buddha, that once you tap in and ask them to assist you and you tell them you're interested in learning or hearing or feeling or seeing more, they're all in. They want nothing more than to know that you're listening to them, that they have your ear, and that you're paying attention to internal guidance, okay, from the angels or whoever you feel you're getting it from. And again, you can ask for all of this. When you do, it's important that you follow the process. I've said this so many times on my channel too, that I believe the way my guides have worked with me is that they kind of, when I first started out, they kind of keep me in a lesson. So I'll give you an example. I want to learn about forgiveness. And all of a sudden, all these examples or these readings or sessions would show up around the energy of forgiveness. And I felt like my guides would kind of keep me there until I understood it at a level that I was ready to let go of. And then we would advance on to another aspect of spirituality. Let's say it was peace or love, or my God, there's so many aspects of spirituality, right? But you get where I'm saying. So I would stay in the lesson. They do the same thing when it comes to the way you're working with your gifts. If you say, I would like to hear more, and you give them your ear, you're going to start hearing more. They're going to work with you to develop it, and they're going to make sure that you trust it and the way in which you receive information. So today, I thought we would play in the energy of hearing. And the way we're going to do this is I'm going to put up a beautiful slide. I'm going to layer in sound, because here's what I want you to know. When your guides start talking to you, it's not like this. It's not one person up to the mic at a time. It's not clear and concise. Jeannie, this message is for Joanne. She's in the corner of the room with the blue shirt on. Tell her that her father said, okay. It's never that clear. To me, it sounds like you walk into a crowded room and there's 1,000 mics and 1,000 different spirits and source and individuals kind of screaming for your attention. It doesn't feel like they're screaming, but it does feel like a lot of chatter. So it's our job as the person who's hearing to lean in, focus out, ask deeper questions, to stay in that moment, to get clarity before we bring it back. So anyone who hears knows exactly what I'm talking about. And if you're somebody who is just starting to hear, or this is the first conversation you've ever had about hearing, this video is for everybody, because it's going to work with this energy today. So are you up for playing? It's a short video all around the energy of playing with clairaudience. I can't wait to share this with you. So next up is our little exercise, and then we'll wrap up. We'll talk about what we've done today. You can ask questions. I will respond. And hopefully this exercise will bring you closer to understanding the gift of hearing. Let's do this. Keep watching. If you'd like to learn more about tapping into your intuition, check out this video. It's new. I placed it in my cards on this video. Okay, so for our first exercise, I'm going to place you in a room. You will not have to have your eyes open for this next exercise, although you can, because really what I'm asking you to do is just tap into your hearing. So this exercise is going to be pretty cool, because here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to pull in and bring in different sounds, and nothing's going to change with the exception of I'm going to ask you to focus on different sounds in the room or outside. You'll have to wait and see. So with that, what I'm trying to demonstrate here is that when you're listening, sometimes you'll be in a crowded room, but yet when you try to focus on one specific thing, I'll give an example, only tune into music, you'll hear only music, and all the other sounds in the room will disappear. And then I'll say, listen to the people who are having conversations, and all of a sudden the music will disappear, but all the people who are talking, you'll hear just them, and the others will disappear. And then I can literally get it down to a male's voice, a woman's voice, a baby's voice. And again, the volume will go up and down, but only because you're giving focus to it. And that's really the exercise of this fun little activity. So you're going to learn that for yourself. Are you ready? Okay, it's coming up. Here's the slide. Okay, have fun with this. Just count how many sounds you hear. And if your eyes are closed, do the sounds emote a picture in your mind's eye? And if your eyes are open, do you hear the sounds and you have your own visualization taking place because of the sounds? And do you hear the other sounds being layered in? And do they all make sense?
P.
You won't always be able to make sense of the sounds you're hearing in a session. Sometimes you'll hear songs. Sometimes you'll hear voices. Sometimes the memories will kick up an expression or a saying from your past or from spirit. This is all totally normal when you're working with sound and hearing their audience. I hope you enjoyed this exercise. So here's a question. Did you hear? You did? Oh, yay. Let's get back to the video. Okay, and so for the last exercise, you're actually going to do a little mini reading for you. And I'm going to talk and walk you through it, and you're all going to hear something completely different, right? So here we go with the hearing. So right now, I want you to give some mindfulness to a current situation that's going on in your life. We're all hopefully working on something every God-given day, right? Right now, I'm trying to work on being more present, and I'm trying to be self-motivated. Instead of expecting other people to motivate me, I'm trying to find my own inner motivation. So that's something I'm currently working on. That's just an example. So for yourself, spend a couple seconds closing your eyes and being mindful, okay, to what it is you're currently working on. So we're going to do that together. I'm going to put up a beautiful slide with some nice music just to get you in that frame of mind, and stay with me and stay listening. Okay, let's do this. Okay, so as mentioned, you're pulling up something that you're currently working on. And you're thinking of the energy of that. What is the energy? Is it hope? Is it to be calm? Is it to manifest? Is it to resolve? I mean, there's always an energy behind the energy we're looking for. So pull that up. I'm just going to let you do this, and I'm going to get quiet. Okay, so with that energy, I want you to ask your guides, what is it in the energy that I am searching for right now? In the energy of guidance that my guides, angels, universe, whoever you pray to or intend to, what is it that they want me to know? What is the current situation? What offer do they have for me for guidance? And just sit with that beautiful energy long enough until you hear. You might have to pause the video. All of this is fine. This is your inner work, okay? I'm going to give you that chance to do that. Okay, come back to me now. Okay, so you all should have heard something, or you should have maybe even heard one word or a letter, or hopefully, even if it was a vibration or a thought or a picture, right? You should be able to hear the words around it. And take a second. It'd be great if you could comment what you heard below so we could all kind of share this work together. But more importantly, this is a great exercise for you to know that you can ask your guides every day for guidance. But guess what you're going to have to do? Yeah, you're going to have to hang around long enough to listen. And then the bigger step is to do what they're actually asking you to do. Because if you're not doing what they're asking you to do, you just might find they might not communicate as much as you want them to. So that's my 2 tips for today and 2 exercises. If you want to stay watching, I'm going to share some of the questions that I love asking in sessions, and they're just tools to help you if you're starting to do this work, or you're always in search of great questions to ask Source. Okay, and you can do that whole exercise we just did with all these questions coming up for yourself. Okay, this is Jeannie. Hey, thanks for watching and listening today with an open ear. I really appreciate that. We will see you next video. If you're feeling stuck in life, sometimes guidance is needed. Life questions are often asked during an intuitive reading, and the ones I chose below truly do reflect your current situation, regardless of what's going on in your life right now. So for this exercise, let's get in and play. So the first question I've chose is, what is my life's purpose? What can you tell me about some past lives? The third question, what are my spirit guides trying to communicate with me? The fourth question, which friendships currently are beneficial and which ones are toxic? Next question, what can I do to achieve success in the workplace? Next question, I feel like something is blocking me. What would Source like me to know to help me realize my goals? What changes can I make to help me get me unstuck? Is there anything that the universe would like me to know? And then the last question, is there a message from a loved one who is on the other side? Bye for now. Hey, Jeannie Lynch, welcome back to my channel. So excited to continue the beautiful work of teaching intuition. And today, this video is for the sitters as well as it is for the readers. So hear me out. If you're on the receiving end of a guidance from a reader, okay, and they start to go to these 10 places, I'm going to list 10 specific things that if a reader starts to give you, you need to cancel the reading immediately, walk out. Don't worry about a refund. It wasn't going in the right direction. And I want to share those with you today. But I also want to share something I recently learned about doing this work for others. And then lastly, I'm going to share just 3 little bonus tips for you readers out there to help your client and to be a best service to them to do this work. So this video is absolutely for the sitter as well as it is for the reader. Are you ready? Let's do it. It's coming up next. Hey, thanks for staying clicked in. I'm going to make a broad statement right out of the gate on the number one lesson that I've just learned, and then I'm going to let you kind of peel it back a little bit so we can move on with the beginning of this video. So here's my statement. Are you ready? This is a direct message to healers and to energy people and readers who are doing this work. And here is the statement. If you're telling, guiding, projecting, suggesting, offering any solution to the person in front of you who is looking for guidance teaching, okay, and you're telling them in any way what to do, which means you think you have the idea of what that person needs to be healed, you've crossed the line. You have crossed the line. Because it is never our position to project on the person that we're working with what their healing looks like through our eyes. That's my statement. And this is something that I have really just come to understand to such a level that I need to change the way I do everything. So it's something I've always kind of walked the wire on and thought I was doing a good job until recently. And I've just slipped off the wire and I'm back on and I am not going to fall again. So I'm wondering, when you hear that, what comes to mind? And especially if you're somebody who's working with people, do you agree? Disagree? Are you doing it? Do you want to talk more? Do I need to do a whole video? I'm going to leave that statement out there. I'll let you comment below. And in the meantime, let's get back to the top 10 suggestions that if someone is giving you in a reading as a sitter, you need to walk out the door. That part of the video is coming up next. Okay, right out of the gate, let's just acknowledge that going to someone, a healer, a psychic, or an intuitive for guidance can be very stressful, highly sensitive, and certainly a personal experience, especially if it's your first time receiving guidance. So hearing certain things during a reading from a reader can be particularly distressing. And this is regardless of what abilities you think your reader has. So today I'm going to guide you into the top 10 things that if your reader takes you down these rabbit holes, I want you to jump up and jump out and get out of the reading, because here's what I know. Nothing good can come from bad energy. And sometimes you'll receive information that is of no service to you. So let's find out what those are today. Number 1, out of the gate, imminent death. First off, the word imminent means absolute. It's going to happen. It's looming. And don't forget free will. So predicting the death of oneself or a loved one is absolutely off limits and ridiculous. Let's move on. Number 2, any mention of severe health issues is off limits. Being told that you or someone close to you is about to suffer with severe illness is absolutely off limits. Mentioning maybe a block or health challenges is a nicer way to say that. And it's also a great point right here to add in that if you're on the asking side, never ask a question that you don't want to know the answer to. Let's move on to number 3. Any mention of a relationship breakdown. Hearing that your love relationship or your marriage is doomed can be dooming. It's projecting, and it's not something a reader should project. In this case, if you see there is conflict or a misunderstanding or friction between a relationship, the reader, a good reader, will always go to resolve and making sure that both the person that they're reading and the other side of the relationship is being respected when looking at that energy. And here's where I would like to add, it's against the boundary to go out and grab somebody on the other side of that relationship that is not there to defend themselves. That's a whole other video. Let's move on to number 4. Number 4, financial ruins. Predicting, which is exactly what it is, or telling someone they're going to have a significant financial loss or even bankruptcy. Or let's take this a little further too, and suggesting a windfall or a luck of money coming into them is also off limits. Your projection can actually change and alter their beliefs and understanding around finance. Number 5, betrayal. Being told that a close friend or a partner is about to betray you is absolutely ridiculous. And don't forget, they will be waiting for the other shoe to drop the minute they leave that reading. And this is absolutely an example of bad energy. Number 6, tragedy is about to happen in your life. Foreseeing an unfavorable disaster or an accident taking place in your life, Source would never give you that information. And I've always said that our guides will guide us. They won't stop us from going into a burning building, but they might let you smell smoke. That's not this energy. This is truly being gaslighted in a session so that you're afraid and living in fear. It would never happen for a good reader. Number 7, any mention of being alone for the rest of your life is absolutely ridiculous, that you're never going to find love or companionship. After all, we're all here to love, and every spiritual being knows that. There is always someone that you will connect with. Let's move on. Number 8, negative past life influences, that your current struggles are due to unresolved issues from the past. And I will tell you that past lives do show up in the readings that I do, but it's never in the energy of bad karma. You did this, so therefore this is why this is happening. When it's told in such a blunt way, you're not getting information that is truly from source. Past life issues might show up, but always in the energy of resolve, not punishment. Let's move on to number 9. Number 9, this is like opening up a can of worms. If a reader ever tells you that you're being attacked or under psychic attack, or worse yet, being cursed, I would seriously think that the person who's giving you this information is the one who is doing it to you. To me, this is another form of gaslighting. I will also add that this number 9 deserves an entire video because there is so much to this topic. But in this regard, please know if they tell you that you're being cursed, most likely they're just trying to secure their next appointment with you. Let's move on. Number 10, that you're about to face a series of bad luck. Predicting a prolonged period of unfortunate experiences is absolutely ridiculous. Remember here, Source is here to inspire you, to fill you with hope, to guide you towards your future and things that you've wanted and intended. So projecting that on you is absolutely unacceptable, and a good reader should never do this. Let's do it, the bonus round. A good reader will never act as your therapist. A good reader will never pick sides. There's always 2 sides to every story. And a good reader will always tell you to trust yourself, higher self, over them. To learn more, watch this video next. Namaste! Hey, Jeannie Lynch, jumping on real quick to have a quick conversation around the energy of intuitive training, right? Psychic readings, the whole bit. So today's topic is going to be about what we should and should not say, what gets said that should not have been said, but also those filters that need to absolutely be in place. And I know I'm going to get some kickback and some feedback here because some people out there in reading land think that there should be no filters and we should just give the information that's coming through. And I got to tell you, I want to talk to you. I'm going to challenge you. I totally disagree. And I want to share today why and give you some stories that might illustrate my point exactly. It's coming up. Stay listening. Hey, thanks for staying clicked in, opening up the door today, or a can of worms to get you talking. If you're an energy healer or a reader or a medium and you do energy work for people, will you please stay listening? I think that there is a great discussion that we can have and collaborate together by you giving some points if you agree or disagree with anything I'm about to say. And my intention is to educate. So this is just from doing years, 20 years to be exact, of energy readings for others. And I'm really getting tired. I'm getting tired of people coming in and sitting in this chair and me trying to look at things that other readers have said and trying to reframe it because what they were told is just criminal. I know I could actually say that. So yeah, it might sound like I'm dogging other readers, but guess what? Not all information out there should be given. So I guess that's right out of the gate what I want to say. Ding, ding, ding. Not all information that is given should be given. And so it opens up the first discussion for this whole idea of filtering. And I will tell you, it's my perception that I have been perceived about being a little too much of the light, a little too unable to go to the dark places. And the truth is, if dark shows up in my sessions, I actually shut it down. I've had dark energy come into the room before, and I've said to the person in front of me, sorry, this just stepped in, and I'm going to actually ask it to leave because I'm not willing to go there. So we need to change the subject. And that's out of protection for the room as well as it is for me. And then if I think it's dark, nothing good can come from bad energy. So yeah, I shut that shit down pretty quick. That's the idea of a filter. But there's also another responsibility to filtering, and that is to take a long break when you're getting information and be clear what the person in front of you's intention is before you start your reading. So when someone comes in, let's talk about intention. the law of attraction, feng shui, energy healing, chakras, right? Without an intention, you have nothing. So if you're coming in and reading people just and you're giving them what you're getting and and it's just as people say, "Oh, I don't care, just tell me what you get." No, not okay. What is your intention today? What can I assist you with? What is something you're working on? Oh, and the person has no idea, then you're really reading willy nilly and your reading's going to be willy nilly reading. So I've said it. Let's keep going. Having an intention set up, we'll call that your baseline, right? And then when you're now all the work is revolving around that. When you get into the work that you're doing for that person, sitter, reader, and you're clear what their intentions are, and now you're starting to ask information so you can attach to that intention or expectation, whatever you want to call it. And you can use words like for the most benevolent outcome, for everyone's greatest good, for the healing intended today. If you ask for light, you will receive light. And this is a great tip and tool. So, again, just a suggestion. One of the things that I also use when I'm gathering information is before I give it back to the sitter, I check the three gates. And what that means in Buddhism is there's these beautiful three gates in the path of the right speech. And is it the information true? Is it helpful? And is it kind? You can know that if you know anything about energy. True means light. Okay. Then you know you're channeling the light. And the light is really all you should be channeling anyway. So that doesn't mean that remorse or guilt or sadness or grief or pain or whatever it is, isn't going to show up, right? Because these people and you are in a physical body. So blockages do show up, but the way in which we maneuver around them is so important. Back to their intentions again. So let me give you an example of this that I think is just such a perfect illustration. There was a woman who came in once who went to a reader and she was in a very dark place. Let's say she had just suffered a loss of her child. And she went to a reader looking to connect and have a reading and was looking for ways to get out of that pain. And so she said, "I'm in a really dark place right now, and I was hoping you could give me something to help me transition out of this darkness and into a better way of thinking." And the reader was pulling cards, which no, not dogging cards, but in this particular card, flipped over a card and said this to this person. Reader said to sitter, "Oh, this card is showing me that if you think it's bad now, it's only going to get worse. In fact, what I'm seeing is at 10 years from now, your life actually gets worse and you go through much more difficulty than you're even facing right now." See where I'm going? I'm going to use a little side teaching right now. Your job as a reader is to see yourself as a gardener. And what I mean by that is imagine that what you're really giving the person, besides information and love, support, and kindness and guidance, is you're giving them and cultivating seeds. You're giving them information which they either believe or not believe, consciously or unconsciously, subconsciously, right? If you know anything about energy, you know this, right? So now they're taking it on. Okay, so let's go back to this metaphor. The reader hands these seeds to the sitter. This person is at the worst place in their life. They take that information, they put it in their heart, in their second chakra, in their throat, whatever. They're planting it. And whether they took it or understood it, heard it on tape, wrote it down on their notes, whatever, it's with them now. They're starting to cultivate and germinate that. Now, what they do with that truly matters, but just the fact that they have that information and the potentiality of it, that's the responsibility back on the reader, back on you, if you're doing this work. So can you just take a moment to pause and, hey, a quick sidebar. Let's not forget the importance here of free will. Free will trumps everything. It doesn't matter how good of a reader you are or the information that you think you're giving is so important for this sitter. The sitter has the choice to see whether or hear whether the information rings true for them, and then the choice to do what guidance you're giving them. Free will always win out on everything, and free will never leaves us. Let's learn more. Do you have, if you're listening to this today and you've kept with me in this video, do you have a story you could share about whether you've received information that was kind of planted within you and it had an adverse effect on you? Or if you've done a reading, do you have a comment that you can add in the comment section below about what you do to combat this conversation or to give more light to what we're saying? And I think both are important, right? So if we could have a discussion below, it would be really great for other people tapping into this video or podcast to hear these stories and go, holy moly, I'm guilty of that, or this has happened to me, and share. Because I could go on all day about people who have come in. When people are coming in for a reading too, I always say to them, don't tell me anything another sitter said. Okay. Because if I give you information today and it's good or it sounds familiar, you might affirm it. But I don't want anyone else's projection of what they've said interfering with my reading, right? If you're a reader, this totally makes sense. Okay, so we're talking about cultivating, we're talking about filtering, we're talking about saying what we think through the 3 gates, all right? Let's take a little break to see how some of my community members on social media answered this exact question. I love this little quote in here from my friend Allison. She said, "First and foremost, we absolutely cannot use our intuition and give people information without their consent. Period." Totally agree with that. Patricia Cockrell answers this. "I can answer as someone who received a reading and was unexpectedly told that my mom would be passing within the year. It turns out they were right, but I was devastated. I wish that the psychic had said it differently, perhaps saying instead, your mom will face a bad health challenge in the coming year. It could have been an exit point." And then Deborah Lupian from the YouTube channel The Akashic Records Unleash, this was great response on Facebook too. She said, "Filter? No. Discretion? Yes. There's a reason information came through. As a reader, I feel ethically bound to deliver the message accurately. It is my responsibility to deliver it in a way that the client can hear. However, the way it's delivered is more up to my discretion." Love that. Kitty talks here. "I attempt to deliver it nonetheless. Responsibility with wisdom and communicate with empathy so the message is received right." And lastly, Joe Mui says that the Hippocratic Oath, "do not harm," applies to the physical and to the spiritual. "I wouldn't blurt out anything that could harm the client or the patient." Let's move on and get back to our video. Thank you for all who responded. And don't forget to respond below. The last thing I want to end with today, because it's really specific to doing the mediumship readings, is to just take a long pause again. This is just a helpful video for people who are doing readings. And now we're into the mediumship, and now we're into the most important information that a reader is going to give a sitter if they're seeking to make a connection to their loved one. And I don't know about you. I can only go from my experience that 90% of the time when I'm trying to connect with spirits, they're going to the way they died. In fact, some of the reading typically ends up being about that. So let's just go to that. You have this most intense thing that has taken place, which is this loss, which is why the person is in front of you and they're seeking connection to their great aunt Alice, or their daughter or their husband, right? And there it is. The most triggering event is showing up, which is the way in which this person passed. This is where the filters have to be on steroids, okay? Because it is important. Sometimes they want to talk about the way they died because they'll know that if they say something specific, they'll know you have them, meaning that the reader really does have that spirit, and they'll talk about things that happened that only the people in the room would know. So I know that from working with people for years, but they're also showing up to give you the light in it, the light in their passing, the fact that they were not traumatized, the fact that they were not feeling anything, that they knew you were in the room, that thank you for the care that you gave them. I could go on and on and on. And in some cases of people I've worked with, the way in which they died has been misunderstood. So I'm going to stop there, and I could share all day, but I want you to share today. Can you share your thoughts on doing this work for others? And then how do you filter? Do you filter? What happens when you get information that you think might not be of service to the person? Do you give it or not give it? And it's not about withholding information. It's really about filtering it and making sure that it's of service, because our job and the job of the spirit coming through, they only want one thing: for you to be okay. So if we're making more damage than we are by giving light to people and helping them heal, we're in the wrong job, and we're doing the wrong job the wrong way. So that's my quick jump in teaching intuition. It's a beautiful playlist I have on my channel. Please check out more if you're learning. If you'd like to learn more, like a session about how you receive information, it's always an opportunity. I do this work for free for people who are on and in part of my community. So if that's you, you know what you got to do. Send me a message. Okay, peace out. This is Jeannie. We'll see you next video. Namaste. Hey, thanks for watching today's Energy Healer Upgrade compilation. If you enjoyed this format, do me a favor, give me a thumbs up. That little love goes a long way.